But I do see something there.
Okay, I'm getting there. Okay, so now it's darker. Now it's even more darker. You see how it's now bigger? And there it spills. You see that big dark line there? So if I zoom in, you see that?
Yep.
That, my friend, is blood. Because if you do a color analysis of that color and the color of the blood coming out of his neck, they match. That is definitely blood. And I'll play the video for you.
I have I think I have a better video of that, which we can look at it.
Oh yeah, if you can bring that up, I'll stop sharing and then you bring that up. Yeah, but I think they cut before the. It cuts
see,
before...
no, there it is, right there. You see the necklace fly?
Yeah, no, I see the necklace.
And I do see what you're talking about the blood in the ear.
Yeah,
you actually can see right there.
You can see it right there, but it's not conclusive. So you see, the problem is this video has been cut before you can actually see it. All the videos are cut before you can see it.
And I don't know why, because this you know.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, so this is how we. Okay, so that's where he sits. Bang. Okay, so he starts toppling over. Right there. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Bang. Those two, I'll do a screenshot of that and then I'll share that.
Do that again. I just did put mine on full screen so I can see it a little bit clearer.
Okay, so watch there.
Okay, I can see the hairline, and the hairline.
No, there's the hairline. You can just vaguely see a thin hairline there. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now look at the next one. Bang. It's thick. That's not the hairline.
I don't know if that's blood, honestly.
No, you can do a color analysis on it. You can do a color analysis.
I mean, it absolutely could be. I mean, you're right, because there is definitely something there. I'm not. I wish we had more definitive proof. You know.
Okay, so here we look. Okay, you see that? So let me take a screenshot of that because I can't zoom in any further. Okay, so I'll take a screenshot of that, and then I'll just do this. Let's just dump it here because I can put it side by side. Okay, so we'll put it side by side. Let me page layout. Let's do that. Landscape. Okay. So Control B. Okay, so we've got that one. And then we'll do the next one.
This is the one I got here.
Okay, just let me grab these two images and put them side by side.
Cool.
Okay.
Well, actually, no, I don't think that is the right one because this one, I just saw it stopped. Is it stopped or no? Oh, no, it isn't stopped. This is the one. Okay, this is the full one.
Okay, so if you look at my screen, okay, I've got the two images side by side.
Gotcha.
See, there's the hairline. Let's draw a circle around it. Where's my wiggly thing? Okay, so we're looking at that there. So let me just take that off. Full.
I definitely see the difference there. There's definitely. I think that is blood. I think you're right.
It is definitely. I did a color analysis on it. It's definitely blood. Now I'm going to play the video,
Well, Grok agrees with you. I mean, Grok, that's what Grok is saying there. It's saying it needs to be definitive. It needs a higher resolution angle, but it actually is saying that that's possibly blood. So, I mean,
That's
you
correct.
just proved it.
Yeah. So what you can see there is you can see it go and then bang, it spills. So
Exactly.
So you can see it welling up from the ear canal, because that's what it said. It would first well up in the ear cavity, and you can see there's the welling.
Correct.
Right there. There's the welling of it, and then it's, again, surface tension will hold it until it flows. And unfortunately, on the next image, it's still there. You should not be able to see his hairline anymore. If we go back, there's the hairline. Here he goes even further back, so the hairline should be completely gone. Bang.
Yep.
Now he's out of view. There we go. Okay, so that's the whole sequence there.
Gotcha.
So there you can see the hairline. You can see the hairline. You can see the hairline. That's not hairline.
Blood. Yeah, that's definitely blood. You can see every single one of those. You can see where it's getting more dark. It's darker and more volume. Every single one.
Yeah.
So that's proof that he was shot from the right.
From the right, and
just like I've been saying, just like you've been saying.
That's correct. But not only that, he was shot right in the ear canal.
Which is why you don't see a bullet hole on his neck or anything.
That's correct.
Which I assume, honestly, I personally thought he was either shot in the ear or in the hairline. That's why we didn't see it.
Well, I used to be a competition level marksman in my young days. Okay. And what I can say to you is one of the key things when you shoot is you pick up a distinct feature. That's why you have a little round dot as your bullet, as your bullseye. Okay, because that allows you to focus in on a specific point. Now, if I had to shoot somebody from a rooftop, that's where I would aim. I would aim right at the ear canal, because it gives you a very nice distinct spot to keep your sight on. Makes absolute. And we're talking about 46. My calculations shows 46 to 50 meters away. Okay,
it would be dead accurate.
It's dead accurate, man. I used to in my young days 22 long, and we would minor competitions. We shot with open sights, not scopes, and we shot at a distance of 25 meters. And if you competed provincially, then you shot at 50 meters with a 22 open sight. And literally, the bullseye was the size of your pinky, of the tip of your little finger. And we had no trouble hitting it. If your gun was properly sighted, and that wasn't even with a dead rest, that was prone on your elbows. So for somebody with a scope and a professional, that's an easy shot. Now, let me bring up my CAD model.
I just talked to Ty, by the way. He's getting his stuff together. He's going to join us.
Okay, cool. So let me save the sequence here. Save this. Okay. So Ty has placed the shooter. Let me go to.
We believe he was on the BA building. We believe he was right on the very corner, right there, where the roof is slanted on top of the BA building. He was laying right there.
Okay, so that was where I originally positioned him as well. Okay, I want to show you this. This is my 3D model. I took a screenshot. Okay, so I've looked at a couple of possible positions. So this 3D model There's one caveat. I am waiting to confirm the exact heights of these points. Okay. So as you can see, that is on the corner there of the BA building.
Yep.
Okay. Right there. This balcony here interferes with the line of sight.
It actually does not. From you know, videos that we've seen of people there and the drones and everything, it actually does not.
Okay, well, that's why I say I have to confirm this, because to me, I don't care if he was shot from there, there, or there. The point is, he wasn't shot from the Losi building.
Exactly, and that's my point too.
Semantics. So
we know, regardless of where he was shot at, we know it came from this corner. It had to have come from this corner somewhere up here.
That's correct. So I want to show you something else. So this is really early on in my analysis, where I basically, because what I did was is I did a vector analysis of the wound. I said, okay, let's assume he's shot in the right ear. What are the angles that will work? Okay. So if we go to this here, so this was a screenshot I took of my 3D model. So this is the canopy that was over him. Okay, 2 meters by 3 meters.
Yep.
If I when I plotted a direct vector from his right ear canal to where the exit wound in the neck is, which is right there, okay, I got a 42.6 degree angle. Okay, that is the exact angle of ear to neck wound. Okay, so let me bring up another image. Let me bring up the sequence. I've got a sequence here. Yeah, the sequence here. Okay, so that was really early on in my investigation. Okay, so that's
that kind of looks about right, because it would be at a steep angle because he is behind him and he's up at a, you know, it would be a pretty steep angle.
Yeah, but I'll show you now what band. So that is a direct, but we know that because of momentum transfer, the bullet would actually come down. The moment it is decelerated, it will come down. And I can explain that from a physics perspective. So that means that the actual angle was less than 42.6 degrees. So if we now go to the next one, so that's the position of the exit wound. I traced it through the right ear canal. So the left and right will line up from this angle. So it gave me a yaw of about 9.17 degrees. But this was the crucial one. This gave me off of his, you know, if you draw a plane through his shoulders, it gave me an angle of 8.4 degrees off of his, to the back of his 3 o'clock. And then when I placed that roughly, you know, on the position he was, right there, you see where it points to? That's the 8.4 degrees, 8.4 degrees off his 3 o'clock. And look where this vector goes through. It goes through basically that position there.
Exactly.
All the top of this building here on the I think it's the FG building.
I don't think he was there though, because that was highly visible from the crowd. Anybody up there could have seen him.
No, it's not. It's actually not. Let's jump up to something else that people miss. This roof of the FG building has a ridge around it, and you can see it. You can see it there because the roof slopes down from this end to that end. You can see that ridge around it.
Yeah.
Okay. You can see the ridge around it right there. Now our estimations is that ridge is about between 2 and 3 feet high. So you could very easily.
Somebody did a drone of that area. I'm trying to think who it was. Oh, Ian Carroll.
Ian Carroll, yes. Ian Carroll did a video. So we can
let me see if I can find that drone video and pull it up so we can look at that.
Right. I want to talk about the possible exfil, okay, from this position. So you've got something this ridge that you can hide behind. You shoot. There's a video that pops up that sees a figure running back this way. And this here, right this here in the center, that is access to the roof via stairwell. So if you look at the building plans of the FG building, this here is access to the roof.
Gotcha.
Right.
I have his drone video. We can go ahead and pull that up and take a look real quick.
So I'll stop sharing. But here's the thing, okay? So what we're arguing about literally is semantics, because it doesn't matter if he shot from this corner here, or on the BA building, or if he shot from the top here. The fact is, the shot did not come from the low-C building. I think here's the thing, Colin. I think we are getting sidetracked if we try and identify who the shooter was. The key thing is, Tyler Robinson was not the shooter, and the shot did not come from the low-C building, which means they are prosecuting an innocent young man, and people are frothing at the mouth to send him to the electric chair, to give him the death penalty. He's an innocent young man. Can you imagine if that was you at that age, or it was your son, and he's suddenly charged when it's absolutely now? I'm not saying that he was or was not on the roof. I'm saying he didn't take the shot. Now, the circumstantial evidence that the FBI is, and a lot of people are putting out here, and they say, well, he's got gravel on his hands and he's got fingerprints on the gun. Well, obviously, if the gun was his, okay, now who knows why he was there? Could somebody have got hold of the gun and placed it there? Of course, if it's his gun, he's going to have his DNA on it. Okay? Of course, maybe he was on the roof, maybe he was not. Maybe it wasn't him. We don't know. That is not 100%. But let's say he was on the roof. Then he might have been an accomplice in some form. As Ty put out, a patsy.
He was not. I do not believe he was on the roof. I posted a picture that I was sent from somebody who was in the crowd that day up on that balcony that took pictures of him, showing him at the crime scene, down there on the ground. So there's no way he could have been at the roof at that time. Absolutely not.
Correct. Okay, but all of this is semantics. The key point is he was not the shooter. Because the shot,
absolutely not.
Okay, so if he was involved or not involved, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The fact is the FBI is lying. The narrative they're trying to spin, and anybody that actually continues with that narrative potentially is going to be responsible if they go ahead with the trial of Tyler Robinson, and if they give him the death sentence, would have actually all been complicit in his murder, in Tyler Robinson's murder analysis. And as I said, I'm doing a video explaining the pressure wave, the shock wave coming off of the supersonic round, all of that. But this is a very simple, quick example of why you can't use the crack bang. Okay? So let's say the shooter is here, and I'll zoom in so people can see that a bit better. Okay? So let's say the shooter is right here in the center. Okay? We know the speed of sound. And let's assume a bullet. Let's say this is the bullet here. Okay? And it's traveling at some velocity. Then depending on the velocity at which the bullet travels, we have two observers. Observer 1 is over here, and observer 2 is over there. They are an equal distance from the source of the sound. Okay? But the person here will hear the shock wave, will have an audible response to the shock wave. So this here is the shock wave propagating from the bullet. Will hear it at exactly the same time as the sound from the crack, if that bullet traveled at the speed of sound. If that bullet traveled at a higher speed of sound, depending on your position, you can either hear the bang first and then the crack, or you could hear the crack first and then the bang. It literally depends on how far away you are from the trajectory of this bullet. Because if you can see here, it's a cone. If you look at the cone here, okay, this cone arrives at the same time as the sound if the bullet was traveling at the speed of sound. This observer here will have heard the crack first and then the sonic boom. So you can see that depending on the observer's position, you're going to get different time delays between the frequency or the signal or signature of the crack versus the sonic boom. Okay, so
Gotcha.
so you cannot use it. You cannot use it to actually work it backwards, because the velocity of the bullet has to be known very accurately in order to do that. So the method that we are using is we're using the same method that is used in echolocation, or that bats use to actually determine the direction and location of a sound. And what that is, and I'll give you guys a quick rundown on that. The understanding, the majority of people in their understanding of what they heard and the sound and everything, we are going to lay to bed all of that, okay? But that is a full presentation just on sound. But I'm just going to show you quickly.
Cool.
Okay, so those are all evidence that we can't rely on, and we actually don't agree, and we can actually prove that, literally prove that through the physics. Okay, that some of these things are not accurate, and people's assumptions and presumptions, it's because they don't understand how sound works. Okay, so what I want to show you here is, okay, if this is a sound source here, right there where the two little red arrows is, and we know that sound travels on that day due to the temperature and the relative humidity, the speed of sound was 346.8 meters per second. Sorry guys, I work in SI units metrics, but you can convert that to feet per second. Okay, so the sound travels at a constant velocity or constant speed. Now let's say we've got a camera here, and it has two microphones, because the cell phones have, or mobile phones all have two microphones. You've got a microphone on this corner, and you've got a microphone on this corner. So what you're going to see is, as the sound comes past, the left microphone is going to record the sound before the right microphone. And you will see it when you look at the sound analysis. There's the sound coming into the left microphone on the top, and then it is recorded by the right microphone. Okay? Now, if and you will always have that. So what that tells us is, that shows us the direction, because we can calculate the difference, the angle. We can calculate this angle that the phone is relative to the shooter based on the sound, and we know what direction the camera was facing. So we can accurately calculate exactly the direction where the sound came from. Now, to make it even easier, is I'm gonna say, okay, so this camera here, this one here, is pointing in this direction. It's pointing in this direction. Okay. If the sound source were on this trajectory here, what will happen? Look, see what happens when I draw a circle in. Okay, you see that? So what will happen is, the sound will arrive at exactly the same time for both microphones. So you can exactly know that the sound came from that angle, exactly where the camera is pointing. Now I'm going to show you guys quickly an audio. So what we have is I'll show you this image here. I'll show you this image here. So the angle from which this video was taken, this video here. Okay. So this video here, the camera, because the camera is sitting, actually is pointing here. Okay. Sort of in between the speakers, because the camera is on the left side of the phone. Okay. Or the top of the phone. And because this is in landscape, it points there. What we've done is we've looked at the sound of this footage, and the sound actually shows the stereo sound arriving at exactly the same time, which means that this camera was pointing exactly at the shooter's location. Guess where it's pointing, guys? It's pointing up there. If you extrapolate that point up there, okay, it's going to get to the corner of the BA building or that corner of the FG building. Now, if we have a portrait view of this same footage, which we do, and I'll tell you guys, so this video here, so let me just pause that.
Yeah, I have this video. I was looking at it earlier.
Yeah, so this video here, right as the shot rang out there, guess where it's pointing? Okay, it's also pointing in that direction, roughly, so it's slightly off, okay? But what it means is we can very accurately determine the direction of where the sound came from. And the direction came from either there or there. That's it. We can prove that with sound. It is unrefutable. Wrong. Now, I just want to make this clear. It doesn't matter if it was a drone or if it was a guy, if it was an Oompa Loompa that shot him.
I agree.
It doesn't matter. What is to me is they are trying to give the death sentence to a young man that could not have been the shooter. And I find it disgusting.
I agree. Yes, sir. That's right, Gideon. That's right. And it's disgusting. And we have more than enough proof to suggest that the sound didn't come from there. The shot didn't come from there. Nothing came from the LC building that day that would have altered Charlie Kirk's life in any way.
That's correct. That's correct. So we just have to prove that the shot came from over here. If I don't care if it's Mother Teresa that took this shot, from there. I don't care who it is. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you,
who
brother.
isn't important. Just the fact that it came over there is the only thing that we really care about right now.
This is getting me excited, Gideon, because you don't understand how hard I worked on proving that it was the BA building. So to jump on here to hear you saying sound triangulation and the scientific merit of the left-right microphone suggests, that the evenness and timing from the direction of the shot, bro, you made my whole night, Gideon. Thank you.
My pleasure, brother. It's just quickly, I just wanted that flash that you call is a flash of the muzzle. That could not have been a reflection, okay, because of the angle, the reflective angles, okay. If you shot from this position here, so that is where because that's where I also thought the possibility was. My final hypothesis is that the shot was taken from this position here. So that's the angle, okay? And there's a couple of reasons for that. As I said, it doesn't matter. It's 90 degrees.
Can I show you something? Can I show you something of what perplexed me about that? Because we can actually see that angle and kind of see that angle in the shot. And can I show you one thing that perplexed me about that? Can you zoom back into your graphic where we're showing where it was?
Yeah, can I just quickly just address that flash that's seen as a reflection? Okay. Zeb Boykin was the guy that actually picked up on it, and he postulated that it was a vapor cloud, a supersonic vapor cloud. And then I figured out it wasn't supersonic, it was a transonic vapor cloud, where the bullet actually went from supersonic and dropped below supersonic into subsonic. And it created that vapor cloud, because the moment the shock wave delaminates from the projectile, okay, because the projectile now falls behind the shock wave, that creates a low pressure region, which on the conditions, relative humidity and temperature on that day, was absolutely perfect to form that vapor cloud right there. That is on the trajectory of the shot. Now, when I actually plotted that, I was able to work off of the reflections. I was able to work off of the reflections on the windows and the rough position of the camera that took it. And what happened was, there's a pink bag here, and that reflection of that pink bag is in this window here. And I could triangulate that information, and I could figure out that that vapor cloud, where it was positioned in 3D space. And when you plot that on this vector, I unfortunately switched that vapor cloud off, but I can show you this image here where I actually plotted it properly. Let me find it. And it matches. The vapor cloud's 3D spatial position sits right on top that trajectory. Okay, give and take, margin of error. Let me try and find it. Where is it?
That actually makes perfect sense, and I could see that, because it doesn't. I was having a hard time trying to figure out if the shooter was on the BA building, how it was that clear in the window, even if it reflected off of the shiny side of the building, it wouldn't have been. So if it was the actual vapor cloud, I think that's a better explanation for it.
Okay, so what we see here is there's the vapor cloud. Okay. You can see the model aligns with the camera angle.
Where's the, I'm sorry, hold on, show us again. Where's the vapor cloud?
Over here. It's.
Oh, okay. Okay, there we go. I see. Yeah.
In a window. Now, the reason why I could figure that out is on higher quality videos that were released from this, you can actually see the vapor cloud's reflection right there with the little handies. And I was able to use the reflection on this window pane, the position of the vector running through the angle, the view angle, and as well as you see, that's the pink, there's the pink suitcase or the pink backpack, and that's this pink backpack over there. So I could use those to triangulate and point out this position of this vapor cloud in 3 dimensions. And when I did it, that is the shot angle, and there's the vapor cloud in the 3D model. Right there. They line up.
Wow.
Okay. So that is why I'm saying we have not 1, not 2, not 3. We have approximately 20 pieces of evidence. The sound evidence you cannot fudge it. It's unrefutable. Then we have supporting evidence like the blood out of the right ear, which I'm 100% certain that's blood out of the right ear. Okay.
We also have the laser scope on Frank's phone.
Yeah. Absolutely, that laser spot.
That's what I was kind of looking at. Now I'm not the sound vapor thing. I'm not I gotta maybe look at that again. But I do know that so I wish that I could show you. I wish I had my stuff in front of me. But from the angle that you were showing on the side of that white building there, from the top, from that high trajectory,
yes.
When I initially did my analysis of that, and as far as where the shot entered into Charlie from that location, with the degrees being just a few degrees off. But from what I figured is the top of that building, that degree of separation still matters tremendously. And the reason why I said that is because of the entry point, that part of the building would put him more what's the word I'm looking for? Is it perpendicular? Right there at a right angle, basically, at either a right angle or less than a right angle of the actual shot. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's actually, the shot was taken 8.4 degrees off his shoulder. And I'll show you here.
Behind the shoulder, right?
That's correct. So here is an early analysis that I did where I actually determined the exact angle. Let me bring that up. Okay, so that's an early analysis that I did. And you can see I was able to actually trace it at exactly 8.4 degrees. And that placed that vector right through this portion here. And as you can see, that includes within a margin of error, both this point here, which is the BA building, or on top of the FG building. But it doesn't matter because it's certainly not the
Now here, if we could pause right there. This is what I wanted to offer into your theory. And this is the part that kind of maybe helped me to understand it a little bit better. Right where you have your red circle is exactly where I put my red triangle for my analysis.
That's correct.
What I realized is that white building that's right there to the right of the red circle, that's touching the right of the red circle. If you can go back to that.
Yeah, this one.
Okay, so the corner of where that wall comes out for the patio that's there, anything that any shot that would have to happen would have to supersede and come in front of that corner in order for our flash to even show up on that wall.
No, but let me show you.
It's not a flash, though.
It's not a flash. It's a vapor cloud. And let me show you.
It's the actual bullet. It's the bullet when it comes out of being supersonic to subsonic. Kind of like a jet. When a jet does that, it makes a big boom, and you can actually see the pressure wave around it.
Okay, you're saying it's not a flash at all. Instead, it's creating a cloud as it's coming in. You're saying
exactly. It's like the bullet. It's like a pressure wave around the bullet that it's creating from going from supersonic to subsonic.
That's correct. So that's the position. You see that little blue dot there? You can see here, you can see my vectors that I use to actually triangulate the reflections.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the bag. Okay. So I used all of this to actually work out what is the three-dimensional position of that vapor cloud, and it's right there. Okay. So look at this. Okay. So that is from the top view. So you see it matches us pretty close. Okay. Now let's go to the next image. There's the vapor cloud in 3D space.
Yeah.
Okay. You can see I've used all of the different vectors to actually triangulate all of that. Okay, and then if we go to the next one, that's the angle there. And if we look at that in 3 dimensions, it places that vapor cloud right on. It places that vapor cloud right on that trajectory there. Okay. Now,
yeah. So it goes right to now. What I was looking at, and maybe I'm wrong, because if you go back 2 more graphics, your vapor cloud was actually the trajectory from your vapor cloud was actually going more towards the triangulation of the BA building. Is there a way to go back 2 more graphics?
No. Let's have a look at this. I'll just go top view on my model. Okay. So Ty, I actually don't care if the shot came from the BA or the FG building. I don't care. All I care about is it did not come from the Losi building.
That's how I feel. We can agree on that.
Yes. If the shot came from here or if the shot came from there, doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
Because the shot did not come from there.
It did not come from there. It absolutely did not. Now, I'll just say this before I get off, and I 100% agree with you. I agree with everything you're saying, to be honest with you, and I really enjoy the vapor cloud analysis. I'm glad that I stayed long enough to be able to understand what you were saying there, instead of it being a muzzle flash reflection.
That's the unrefutable. Okay, and the other thing that is also unrefutable, but it's a little bit harder. The sound is 100% solid. Something that's maybe 99% solid is the corticate position that Charlie went into. Okay, so I think Dr. Madison was the one that brought that up.
We can also tell that this is from the shot that everybody saw from up front. I'm not going to show any blood or gore in here, but this is actually just 4 frames. So if frame 0 is before he gets shot, he's shot. Frame 2, frame 3, frame 4. This is frames 3 and 4. We can already see him in this pugilist pose. That's where his hand is already curled like this. That means that he's had some kind of very traumatic injury to the midbrain level. It was an instant death. So after traumatic brain injury, it's called decorticate posturing. We also call it the pugilist pose, because people, if they fall back and hit their head and they get really harmed, they'll come up in what looks like a boxing pose, but it's not like this. Their hands are actually usually flexed in a little. So this is an abnormal involuntary posture characterized by rigid extension of the legs, flexion of the arms toward the chest with clenched fists, and inward rotation of the wrists, often resembling a defensive boxing stance. It typically indicates severe damage to the cerebral hemispheres or midbrain, is a sign of a poor prognosis. As soon as I saw this, that the day of the shooting, when he tipped and went over like that with that decorticate posturing, I knew that it was a very bad situation for him. Very unlikely to be survived. But this also gives us some data we're going to have to work with. Again, I tell you, we work with actual facts. The fact is that we have to account now for a very violent midbrain injury, something that happened so fast that just 1/10 of a second after the shot happened, 4 frames later, right? If this is 30 frames per second, by the 3rd frame here, which is 1/10 of a second, it's already like that was as instant a response as you could possibly have, right? And for people who are out there thinking, oh, this could have been Hollywood and it could have been faked, it's impossible to fake something that quickly, that fast. And there it was. So then he just tipped up and over and dropped the mic and all of that. But we now have to account for a very violent insult to the midbrain or lower brainstem area. So that's part of the deal. It can't have been, for example, a very low speed pistol round shot from a concealed palm thing, a 32 caliber or something like that. It doesn't have the force necessary to cause a little puncture here, rattle around in there, and cause this kind of damage. We need something that operates at an extremely high rate of speed. So this is part of our clue set.
So that
exactly.
The shot had to go through the midbrain, okay, to cause that. No other position, not a neck wound, not a shot from behind, not a shot from the front, would have actually gone through the midbrain. The only position is right through the ear. Right through the ear.
Yeah.
And you cannot fake that decorticate position. You can't fake it.
And anybody who saw the video actually knows, if you slow it down frame by frame, I keep saying that to everybody, frame by frame, very slow, you can see that before Charlie hit the ground, the way his neck unnaturally went back, whatever the bullet did to this area of the brain and also the neck too, something went wrong with his neck and the way that it fell back. It was one of the most unnatural things before the bubbling under the shirt and the opening of the wound.
So we can explain that. We can explain that in medical terms.
Because it seems like whatever they said was the injuries to the what was it, the C5 or
C5?
It's all bullshit.
Yeah, all bullshit. I don't even want to speculate about that, Sid.
Yeah.
I just want to focus, because what happens if we bring in the patsy here and the palm pistol and the this and the that?
You don't agree that his neck was injured?
Well, it's his brainstem was blown apart.
I mean, as far as that, the injury to the spinal column, spinal cord area itself.
Well, basically, what happens if you look at it, man, the bullet comes in the right ear at an angle. It goes right through the midbrain. It then hits. I'll show you this.
I kind of thought it came right behind that ear.
No,
there is no bullet stuck in his spine.
In the ear canal, Ty. In the ear canal.
Oh, you're saying it went in the actual ear canal?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
I'll send you the video. Once we're done, I'll send you the video, Ty. But he went over this earlier at the beginning. We went through frame by frame, and you can actually see the blood pooling in his ear before it happens.
Yep.
I mean, not before it happens, but you can see the blood pooling in his ear right after the shot.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Tell me when you guys can see my screen.
I have to look at that. I can see it.
Yep.
Okay. You see this? There's the ear canal. It's surrounded by bone, gentlemen. It's called the temporal bone, which would cause, if you shoot it at an angle, that bone will deflect the bullet down, going right through and exit where it exits.
Wouldn't the brainstem too? If the brainstem was hit in the C4, C5 downward trajectory position, deflect off to the right side while it's creating the cavity coming in?
That cavity would wreak complete havoc. It would cause splinters breaking off of the vertebrae coming off the back here. I mean, it will create absolute havoc. But Gary from Paramount Tactical shared a video of somebody who went ahead and they did different shots on a skull, a resin skull with ballistics gel around it, gelatin. And right in the beginning, one of the first shots they tried was, they said, we're going to shoot him from the side of the head at an angle, and they used the 9mm. Okay? And the bullet did not exit, but you can see where it stopped. It stopped right at the exact point. And then they took a second one with a round that had higher velocity, and it exited. Okay? But those were very rough. But that shows, but if you look at it, it will hit the temporal bone. The cavitation would cause immense damage, and it will be deflected downwards and come out. And it was actually replicated in that video that Gary shared.
That is actually, I think that's actually what I'm saying, is that when it comes in, it creates the cavity, if you will, begins to create the cavity. But we notice that whenever a bullet enters into an organic material like that, the cavity widens with distance inside of the body. It doesn't start out as a huge cavity at the beginning. It starts out small at entry and then widens out. And that's kind of what I was saying in my video, based on the tree trunking of the neck. That's
exactly what you would find. So depending on the velocity, that distance, okay, and that the way is that is due to momentum transfer, okay, and that momentum transfer then causes a hydraulic force vector in all directions, literally in a three-dimensional space in all directions, and then it stretches based on the elasticity, and then it collapses. Okay, so that neck expanding is 100% what you would expect.
Okay. So I got that part right.
You got that part right, brother. You got that right.
100%.
Colin, if you're going to share this, I would actually want to give credit to Matt Bowden from Audio. He goes at audio_freak, FREQ. So he's actually the expert, the sound expert that brought up that. And when he brought that up, I went, you're right, man. The stereo analysis will point to all the shooters. If there's more than one, if there's 50, we'll find all 50 of them.